Who are kind of the guys that are working in your group right now?
For the most part, it's been JC, obviously, who had a good year there last year, and then RJ. But Israel's been in there a little bit. Jam was in there a little bit today. So, again, we try to cross-train everybody so everyone gets a spot and chance to understand kind of their spot in the defense and how it all fits together. So, but those are the main ones, and really JC and RJ.
How is RJ taking to coming down and playing on the line a little bit more?
It's been really good. He's smart, very, very smart. So he's able to learn what he's supposed to be doing and the technique in doing it. And I think it's helped him play safety too. But he's a big body. He's not afraid to tackle. He's physical. And the safety position and the nickel are very similar in terms of their man-to-man techniques they need to have. So it's been a good fit for him, and he's done a really good job with it.
Is it kind of nice to know that you'll be getting at least one freshman, maybe two, kind of working in there when summer rolls around?
Yes, it'll be good to have those young guys here. I think we have some guys that can come in and play in there and be productive, just as JC was last year.
What kind of a conversation is there about moving RJ down into that nickel spot, especially if you're kind of, he's a quarterback a few years ago, gets thrown in at DB and kind of at safety and kind of succeeds the way he does?
Well, he's a ball player, and I think he's the kind of person that whatever's best for our team, he'll do, and I think he likes the physicality of being down there. And, again, the techniques and all the stuff he's doing is the same as playing safety. We're just moving a bit closer to the box.
What's Jemiah's health like?
He's doing good. He's out there today. He's rolling along.
Full go?
Limited, yeah. Limited. I know Coach Muschamp handles all the injury stuff, but he's out there working. So.
What do you expect from him in the fall?
I expect him to be ready to roll. Yeah.
Is he competing for a starting job in your mind?
Yeah. I think we'll have a good group of guys that are all out there competing, and they've competed this spring really in everything we've done, whether it's offense versus defense, DBs versus wideouts, and then even in the room they've competed with who's got the best GPA and who had the best practice and who knows the defense the best, and that competitiveness in our minds I think is really helps our team.
Is Jam still a guy who you look at as safety?
Yeah, safety, nickel, cornerman, and again we try to cross-train them all. Just understanding when I'm playing safety, if I played nickel, I know what he's thinking, I know what he's doing. If I'm playing corner, and I played safety, then it all kind of pieces together. And so being in those spots in practice and understanding what they're doing makes everyone's job a little bit easier. And also I think it builds trust of I need to be here because I know my teammate's going to be there.
What's it been like having kind of that culture of competitiveness, and how long does it take to sort of get that to soak in almost?
Well, it's taken some time. It has, but I've been really pleased, and I think as a staff we've been really pleased with our secondary and how competitive they've been. And like I said, they're coming in after practice. They're saying, well, I got this many production points. Where'd I miss these points? And it's been really, really fun. And we have a competitive unit, and it's fun to be around them, and it's fun to coach them because they're always wanting to get better. They're always wanting to do more and whatever they can do to improve themselves as football players and also as just human beings and people in the program.
When you leave this spring, how much do you feel like you know about next year's secondary, your position in general, just because of the fact that you've got guys limited, you got so many guys coming in? Do you learn just about guys in the spring? Do you feel like you have a good grasp of what you're going to see in the fall?
Well, I think you have a good idea of what you're working with and all that. But, again, we've had a tremendous amount of success playing young players. So we're going to have some other guys come in the fold and compete, in the fall to get out there and play. So it gives us a really, really good starting point of this is where we are. And it also allows us to say, okay, you young guys coming in, this is where you can help us. Come and earn it and take it. So.
There's been a lot of success playing young guys, especially in the secondary. I don't want to make it sound easy, but is it easier to come in and maybe have a shot to play early at that position? And if so, what makes it that way?
I don't know that it's easy. Yeah, I think we've done a really good job evaluating people that can come in and athletically do it, and then at the same time are competitive enough to come and try to learn and do whatever they need to do to find a way on the field.
How much does that help in the recruiting pitch that you can kind of point to all those guys and say, these guys got on campus and they very quickly were able to earn spots?
Well, our motto around here is if you're good enough, you're playing. If you're the best, you'll start. And it don't matter, who recruited you or where you came from. If you're good enough and you can help our team win football games, you're going to be on the field.
Any of these incoming defensive backs that you've got an eye on, this guy's going to be at nickel to start fall?
I think Jamie can be in there. He showed some ability to do it. he's probably would be the one that I think can come in there and play and help us, and also at safety and some other spots too. But he'd be the one. I think Cam's smart enough to do it as well. But we'll see how it all plays out and where we're at, come fall.
What about Jimmy's skill set makes him kind of maybe fit that position?
Well, he's athletic, he's tough, he's physical, and he's a ball player, kind of like RJ and JC, that not afraid to get in there and able to learn and do the things he needs to be able to do and cover and tackle.
Is a lot of what kind of separates a really good nickel, not only the coverage ability, but that ability to kind of stick your nose in it, whether it be in run support or kind of chasing down screens? Yeah,
they have to have the ability to do both. And we put a lot on them in terms of coverage, man-to-man, but then we also need to be able to tackle and get in there and be physical. So, I think all three of those guys have shown the ability to do it, and we're excited about the competition that we're going to have in there going into the fall.
With a guy like JC, who obviously had a really good year last year, how do you balance as a guy that's working with him, bringing him along and developing him, and also trying not to put too much on him too quickly?
Yeah, I mean, he had a great year, and he'll be the first to tell you there's stuff he needs to continue working on. But to be honest with you, he's in here working all the time, and he wants more. And so that's the fine line for me is how much can I give him? But he's been really good about coming in and wanting to learn and wanting to do extra, and not just necessarily his position, but the broad scope of the game. What were they thinking here? Why were they lined up here? And I think that will be a huge step for him even more, is improving his football IQ, which is already really, really high. It can go even more, and he's studied and worked to do that.
A couple of the players we talked to, I think maybe last week, kind of talked about lobbying you guys to maybe get on special teams. What does it kind of tell you about the roster you have and kind of what you've been able to sort of build here, that you have players that are saying, please put me on coverage units?
Well, I think it goes back to the competitiveness of this team that we have. We got a group of guys that, and you've seen it all spring, of guys going forward every day, trying to get better, trying to do whatever they can do to help the team win. But it's the competitiveness that's really in this whole building of guys that just want to go win. And whatever they need to do to win, we're going to put the best 11 guys out there. But it's good to have them wanting to be out there to do what they need to do to help the team.
Are there any big special teams metrics that you guys kind of look at, kinds of field position, that kind of stuff, where you say this is sort of a good measure of how we were across the balance of a season? Yeah,
so we'll self-scout everything, and that's, offense, defense, and special teams. So we have, different stuff that we go through and look at to kind of study what were we good at, what do we need to improve on, and so on and so forth. But we're very thorough with that kind of stuff, and working through it and trying to find a way, as many ways we can, to get better across the board.
I guess this is kind of you're finished up your first year as a full assistant. How was there an adjustment process for you with that? And I guess especially with the on-the-road recruiting, did you have to adjust to that at all?
No, the recruiting was the biggest thing, yeah, just getting used to that. But it's been really good. And again, we got a great staff of football coaches here that help and want to do whatever they can do to help me be successful and help the organization be successful. So I'm very fortunate to work with a group of guys like we have here.
What was the biggest adjustment for you getting on the road and having that grind of going out there and visiting prospects?
I liked it. I really did. Probably the biggest thing for me was just getting to know my area. Mm-hmm. Know the coaches, know the people that in the area that have a good idea of the kids. But building those relationships was probably the hardest part, just because you didn't have them.
Right.
But I enjoyed doing it. And recruiting's been good.
Who was the biggest guy that kind of helped you along and gave you the most advice?
Coach T-Rob.
Really?
Yeah, he's really good, and he's been throughout my career. It has really, really taken care of me and helped me learn and grow, and I'm fortunate to work for him.
Had you done any on-road recruiting at any of your previous smaller stops?
Yeah, when I was at Northern Colorado. Mm-hmm. So I recruited Denver. My dad was a high school coach, so that was easy for me because I grew up knowing all those coaches. Mm-hmm. But I had experience, yes.
How much does having a dad who was a high school coach help you, even just building the relationships you had to in your new area?
The biggest thing is having some emotional intelligence to understand what this high school coach is going through every day, the battles that he fights, the things that he's going through that maybe we don't necessarily see every day. That's probably the biggest thing, of just understanding, that I got to teach a class, but I got a coach coming, and I'm going to go back to my class, I got another coach coming. That's a strain on those guys. So, trying to be understanding of their schedule and helping them is probably the best thing, of having a high school coach. That was my father.